of us jointly confront. A dialogue is an absolutely central element of that process, and having a centre in Afghanistan which encourages that kind of activity and provides a venue for that kind of activity is an extremely positive device for contributing to addressing both the problems of Afghanistan and the problems of the wider world and the region of which Afghanistan is a part. It's also the case, as the important writings of Professor Sharoni have shown over many years, that Afghanistan itself has a very strong tradition of community governance to which the idea of dialogue is absolutely central. Without dialogue, community governance is not something which has the capacity to contribute in the way one would wish to the resolution of a country's problems, but the traditions upon which this centre can build are rich and positive and extremely important parts of Afghanistan's future. It's also the case that in the realm of diplomacy, the last 20 years or so has witnessed a flourishing of activities which go beyond simply state-to-state communications, but involve what is now called track 2 diplomacy, in which peoples of different countries, engaging at the same time with their own governments, nonetheless come together to discuss critical issues which sometimes are so controversial that governments do not want to be seen to be addressing them. And one way in which one can try to carry forward resolution of critical problems of this kind is by initiating conversations which take place not necessarily between formal agents of the state, but between respected and responsible members of civil society who can then engage with their own governments and look for pathways ahead on complex issues. It's also a privilege for me to be here today because I've had a very long-standing interest in Afghanistan, and even as I stand here and look out, I can see old and dear friends who are with us today, and indeed I'd congratulate the organisers on their ability to draw together such an eminent and representative group of the very best and the brightest of Afghan society to contribute to the opening of the centre. Indeed, I've been working on Afghanistan for so long that I now feel I have a somewhat ambiguous identity of my own. In 2014, I was here as an observer of the first round of voting in the presidential election, and I had this particular jacket, and an Afghan friend of mine said, "Bill, don't wear that jacket, people will think you're a foreigner." And I was very moved by that particular observation. I wish the new centre all the very best. I think it has a team of very fine people who have exactly the orientation towards the resolution of problems that one needs to put together in Afghanistan, and I look very much forward myself to contributing in whatever way we can through our work in the professional study of diplomacy to support, encourage and welcome the work of the new centre. Thank you very much.